Today I'm going to show you how to create a custom GPT in ChatGPT. A GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and basically it's a way you can train ChatGPT to do your own tasks. So in other words, you might have some information that you want ChatGPT to know in order to create whatever you want to create with it, or to get the output that you want to have. And it may need to know something specifically about you or your situation, or about the format that you want, that it might not necessarily know with its kind of general training that it has. It still has access to that other training that it has, but this helps you give it specific data to use as it creates its output. So let's go to ChatGPT right here. And what we're going to do is up in the right corner here, if we click up here, it says My GPTs. So we're going to click on My GPTs, and we're going to go here to Create GPT. Just hit the little plus sign there. And it brings you into this screen right here. The right half is a preview. The left half is where you create the GPT. Now, you see it says create and configure on this side. So there are two tabs. Let's go over to the configure tab real quick. Now, you can create the entire thing within this tab, but I'm going to show you how to actually get ChatGPT to help you write the GPT. And you can always come back to this to refine it. So it has name, description, instructions right here, and so on down the line. So name is just the name that you would use for the GPT, but you're going to see we're not going to put it now because ChatGPT will actually fill that in for us as we chat with it. The description is just basically what it does, so you remember what it actually does. And then you have right here instructions, and this is part of, or the major part of how you program the GPT. It's instructions or the prompt that you put in there. And ChatGPT is going to help us write that as well. Conversation starters are things so that if you create a GPT, particularly if it's for other people and even for yourself, you can have it give you some examples of questions you can ask it just to get started. And the next thing here is So the next thing down here is knowledge, and this is where you can upload files. If you have other documents or that you want to upload to it, like something that you wrote yourself that was in more detail that you wanted to put up as part of the chat, or some information that you had in a document, you could upload it right here. And then down here are its capabilities. By default, it has web browsing and DALL-E image generation on. You always pretty much probably want those on. And then it has code interpreter and data analysis. You want to actually check this one on most times because it gives you some extra capability. One thing that clicking on code interpreter and data analysis does is it allows you to tell ChatGPT to download your chat or part of your chat or a list that you had it create in chat into a file. And so that's why you generally want to click that on. Also, if you were doing something where you needed code written or you wanted to do GPT to help you write code, you would have to turn that on. And then you have actions down here. It says create new action. And actions, we won't get into that in this video because that's a little more complex. But new actions are to actually connect it to other websites and databases and just to other computers or servers. So what you can do with that, you can actually create your own kind of custom server and database and actually write an interface to that. But a lot of other services and websites have the ability to connect using that. So for instance, you could use that to upload a document to Google, or there are ways to do that. Or you can use that if you wanted to send a Gmail out as a notification through your ChatGPT, but that's beyond what we're going to do in this video. So that kind of gives you an overview of kind of the manual configurations. But as I said, we're going to go over here to create, and we're going to get ChatGPT to help us. All right, so down here, it looks just like ChatGPT right here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go right down here, and I'm going to tell it what type of GPT I want. So let me just type this in. So I wrote, create a GPT that will write posts about what happened on a particular day in history for social media posts. I could be more specific of what type of social media. One thing you have to be careful of is if you want to share that, sometimes because the name of the social media is a brand, if you put the brand in the description, you won't be able to save it so that other people can use it. So if you want to share it with other people on a link or just make it available in the GPT store, you have to be careful about branding and stuff. You can always save it pretty much to be so that only you can access it. So we're going to start here. So I could be more specific of what social media, or I could write what the format of the social media was without using the name of the social media, maybe. Or if I'm just using it for myself, I can just go ahead and write the name of the social media app that I'm talking about. And we're going to get a little bit more specific in general, but after you start to do the GPTs, you can actually write out longer prompts because you'll know some of the stuff that you'll want to do. And so let's just run this right now. All right, so it comes up first with, let's choose a name for the GPT. How about historical snapshot? Does that sound good for you? So here, like, I could accept this right away. A lot of times it doesn't matter. It just needs a name. I could tell it, no, name it something else if I had a specific name in mind. Or I could do this. I could go try again. I can always tell it to try again. How about today in history? See, now that's pretty good right there. Maybe let's try again. I like this, on this day. So I can go ahead with this, or I could go use the first choice. So I can always tell it to try again, or if I told it to try a few different times, I can pick any one of the ones that it already has suggested. Let's just say go with it. So now, because we have Dolly turned on in the configuration, it will actually generate an icon for us too. And actually, if we turn that off, it may still generate the icon in this, but if we don't have Dolly on in configuration, it won't be able to generate images. So if you want to generate images, you want to make sure the Dolly prompt is on there. So here's one. Let's try again. And also, when you tell it to try again, you can do some specifics. Like if you think, hey, this is pretty good, but you want something a little bit different, you can try again. Let's try again, but more colorful. So a lot of times it does these kind of very kind of almost monochromatic type things, or things that are a little more subtle, and you might want something a little more eye-catching. So there, look, it did that. It added color to it. If I don't even like the idea with the calendar, I might say, let's get rid of the calendar and go with a clock, or go with a clock tower, or whatever idea that I have. Let's go with this. You can just say, go with it, or that's good, or yeah, let's use this one. It understands, just like you're talking to a regular person. Perfect. We've got a profile picture set. Now let's refine the way this GPT operates. What should be emphasized and avoided when crafting posts about historical events? So we can put whatever we want in here, and we might already have a list or whatever. What I like to do is I like to ask ChatGPT what it thinks about this, because it kind of saves some time, because it will give you some suggestions, and it gives you ideas, and you can go from there, and you may not have to put as much if you like what it's starting with. So I'm going to go, what would you suggest? Yeah, so it says, just starting off here, engagement. It has emphasized and avoided things. So emphasizes engagement, relevance, conciseness, visual appeal, accuracy. Those are all good things, I think. You don't want overloading details. A lot of times it will say avoid being over technical. That's always good. Dry language, controversial topics. Yeah, well, those are all good, I would say. And so I could add something here and say, I could tell it to take away one of the points, refine one of the points, or add a different point into it. Whatever I wanted to do. What would I like to add or refine in these points? I'm going to just say, go with it. So it asked here is you can try it out. Do you have any more things you want to refine now? Or you can go ahead and try it out here. We can try it out on this side. And that's what we'll do this time. But one thing you need to remember is if you try it out on this side, it doesn't save that in the chat. It's a different chat. It doesn't save that per se. So once you create it in try it out in an actual GPT chat window, it's going to remember what you're doing. So the things you test out, in other words, it basically doesn't save or remember once you save it. Once you have the GPT saved, it will remember all of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it, see what the output is. And so I'm going to go write a social media post about today, or let's just say, or this week, happened. Okay, I'm gonna tell it to write a social media post about an event that happened on a date this week in history. Because frankly, I don't know if there's anything interesting that happened today. I would probably just go what happened today in history if I was using this like every day. So let's see what happens. All right, so this is pretty interesting right here. It just happens that on August 18th, 1920, the 19th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution was ratified, granting women the right to vote. So that's actually pretty interesting. We could use that. So what it's actually done is, this is the post that we would use. And so it's actually, it asks you want any additional adjustments or details. But it's actually put the hashtags here. So that's something that we would want. And usually when you tell it to do a media post, or when you're writing a GPT for media post, it actually already knows to put the hashtags in. But we might want not just want hashtags, we might want keywords, and we might want an image for this. So we can go back and forth with this. And I'm gonna go So we're going to add, when you create a social media post, include hashtags at the end of the post, which is already done, but I want to emphasize that and make sure it includes them. Also, after the post, give a list of comma delimited keywords. So we're going to add that. So the nice thing about this is we also have a set of keywords here. So we can post this, and these separate keywords we can use for things. For instance, in YouTube, if you put keywords in, if you pasted this list, each comma, it would separate it as a different keyword or keyword phrase. So the comma delimited part actually helps in certain social media apps to make sure that it kind of sets it into separate keywords. So that's looking pretty good there. But now we can also generate an image if we want. And so let's tell it to go ahead and generate an image with the post. So what we've done is we've put here, when you write a social media post, also create an image to go with it. Okay, so now it says, do you want to go ahead and test it with the setup, or do you have another adjustment to do with it? And let's go ahead and test it. So it's going to generate an image here and then write a post. So it's given us the whole thing. It's given us a pretty nice image right here, and it's given us the post that we can use. It has the hashtags at the end, and then it has a separate list of keywords that we can also use to enter into the social media app if there's a separate section for just keywords in addition to the hashtag that we have right here. So now we have the ChatGPT, and we can actually go, let's look at configure here first. So you see the instructions. It's written these instructions as we've gone through it, and it says what this specializes in and what the GPT should emphasize and what it should avoid and all that. It's written that all for us. It's also created some what's happened today in history. Can you write a post about a historical event on this day? And so it has some starters right here. If we go back to here, so this is our test data, and over here is what it's it's going to look like. It's got the icon and on this day, what happened today in history. Can you write a post about a historical event? And those were all within the configuration down here. Tell me an interesting fact that happened on this day, and it has that right there as well. You can add your own right here. So let's add one. Let's go list important historical events happened this month. So you can add conversation starters of things that you might use all of the time, and so that makes it really useful. So if you're doing this, if you're posting what happened on this day, and maybe you're doing 1 or 2 a week, a good question to ask it is list what stuff's happened this month, so you can create the posts for the month or have an idea of what ones you might focus on. So we've added that to there, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go up here, up to the top right. It says create, and I'm going to just go only me on this one. You can have it so that anyone with a link, so you can send people the link to use it, or you can put it in the ChatGPT store, and then anyone can access it. So I'm going to go save, and then I'm going to click here. It gives me a link. I'm going to click here, and so it brings me to my custom GPT. And let's see here. So it will only, I guess, show 4 of these at a time right here. So if we go back up here, we can go to edit GPT, and I'm going to go configure here, and I'm going to take this because this is important to me. Actually, what I'll do is, which one don't I want? I'm going to put this down here. So we want to make sure this month, just so that we have this here. We can delete these, put our own, and readjust them. But I'm going to just adjust it for that. And now, because I updated it, I hit update here. And then I want to go view the GPT again. Let's see, and that should be list important events that happened this month. So that's a whole bunch of things here. All sorts of things happened this month, and that's going to be probably true any month. Well, it is going to be true any then the bombs were dropped at Hiroshima and Nagasaki here. The 19th Amendment, which we've already done. Let's go down here. So it numbered it, so we can just say choose a number. And so let's go ahead with there's NASA launches Voyager 2. And so I'm going to go write a social media post for number 10. All right, so now it hasn't included the image, so let's ask it for an image now, too. So when we create an image for the post, it will create an image for it. We can also specify there when we create the image to a particular format. By default, it does square. If we want rectangular or a particular aspect ratio, we can ask it to do that as well. So it's given us this image too. So now we have a post, an image, these keywords. So we can just cut this first part out without the keywords, or with the keywords if you want, and post it as the posting. If the particular social media has another place to add keywords, we can cut the keywords out and put it there, and then we can tell it we can download this image and upload it to the social media app. And so let's go back here to edit GPT one more time. We're going to go to configure. We do have for it to put an accompanying image to visually enhance the post. And it did seem to work, so we're going to manually fix this and go all right, we're going to go ahead and tell it to do that as well. We're going to go here, go update. We're going to go view GPT. We're going to tell it to give us a list of important events again. And it actually gives us some of these are different now. So it's added some more. So it's giving us another 10. We could probably specify, like if we wanted 20 suggestions or only 5, we could go back and edit that like I just did with the image thing. And so we're going to go create a social media post using, which one shall we do this time? Let's use number 9, which is Hurricane Katrina. That's not creating, it's still not creating an image with this, and so I'm not sure what's with that. But in this case, we can just go create an image for the post. It may be that it's set not to create an image until you specifically ask it, because otherwise it would be creating too many images, because it has a limit on the number of images you can create. So I created this image. So anyway, that gives you an idea how you can go back and forth with this and try to get it to do different things. And if it doesn't do something, like if it doesn't create an image and the post at the same time, you can always go back, and when you're using it, just tell it separately to do the image. Another reason it might not have done the image right away is because it probably wants you to look at the post as well. The interesting thing about ChatGPT is sometimes it will actually give you two answers, and it will ask you which one do you like best. So that's how you create a custom GPT in ChatGPT. You have to be subscribed. You have to upgrade your subscription to a paid subscription to be able to create custom GPTs. So that's another thing to remember.